Next, here's a lovely oak tree, but just an example of kind of all plants here. I mean, if any of you have studied photosynthesis, you'll know how just complex and cool that mechanism is. I mean, taking in light and managing to convert it to energy for the plant. I mean, it's something that most creatures can't do. But plants have got it. They're doing well. So you've got to love the oak tree. Another cool thing about plants is the growing tips of plants. You might have noticed how plants, as they grow, they turn towards light. And the reason is that the light falls on one kind of side of the growing tip of the plant. A shoot growing up out of the ground, or the end of a branch, a twig that's branching off. And the side that doesn't have light on it doesn't have the light inhibiting a chemical reaction, which causes, and the lack of that means a hormone is produced in greater quantities on one side, this side opposite the light, and so that grows more rapidly and turns the growing tip towards the light source. Again, a pretty cool mechanism, and all thanks to evolution. And finally, I don't mean to be self-centered here. I don't have any experience of you guys. I don't know what exactly you can feel or not. But I know I'm pretty kind of well kitted out in terms of emotion and things like that. I mean, it seems like humans are far superior to most animals in their cognitive abilities. I mean, we seem to be the only creatures that exhibit consciousness. So it's pretty awesome. I mean, the range of emotions that humans can go through is pretty amazing. And our ability to adapt to environments and to build tools and things like that is truly amazing. I mean, if anyone kind of, for a moment, gets bored with the idea that we're this cool, then I can't possibly understand them, because that we're so complex that you've really got to appreciate all the kind of the time that has gone into slow mutations over time that have eventually produced us. It's just kind of a scattering of cool things we have to view on this planet, to enjoy. Just a few of my favourites. There's obviously thousands and thousands of species and brilliant examples of other ingenious evolutionary traits. So as I said at the beginning, there's no kind of wonder why me and my friend, my Christian friend, agreed that the world is an amazing place. However, obviously we disagree on how it all came about. And I have to say, I think he's missing out when he believes that a God created it all. I think he loses something in terms of appreciation for the world when he believes that a God was responsible, that a sentient being created the world and all of the species, or at least put evolution into play, which is kind of sad. And the reason why I think this is because I think that positing something like a God answers a lot of questions, and answers them all very, very swiftly. You might have heard the kind of the phrase being bandied about, I don't know who originally said it, that an answer that explains everything explains nothing. I mean, you might have found that in kind of intelligent dialogue, if someone comes to the conversation seeming to know more than they possibly could, then they tend to get rejected. And so this idea that there's one solution that kind of answers it all so neatly, it doesn't sit well with me. And I think it, as I said before, it loses a lot. Because when I think about mechanisms like evolution, or biodiversity, or just simple things like energy and its nature, I find it truly amazing, because there is no intelligence behind it. That seems a very easy way out, but of course, in my worldview, I don't think there's any anyone pulling the strings. I think if people attribute things they do, or how kind of truly amazing the human kind of psyche is, if they attribute that to just a god, I think they are kind of overstepping just how much is going on within them. I always kind of find it kind of sad when you see someone who prays to their particular god when they come out to exam season, and then after exams, they thank God for doing well. I think that's really sad because, of course, in my worldview, they've done it themselves, and they're not, they're not taking all the credit they should. And equally, they're not giving all the credit they should to the world and to the raw, blunt forces that have kind of sculpted it. I think it makes it far, far more of an amazing place to think that there was no intelligence behind it, and that it's just been a gradual process of complexity coming out of simplicity, like you see in evolution. I mean, the poet Keats once accused the scientist Newton of destroying the poetry of the rainbow when he broke it down and described how light operated. And I mean, I of course disagree. I think that Newton did a great thing by explaining how light works, because I find that as fascinating as just looking at the rainbow and enjoying the surface of it, if not more. Being able to try and understand what it is that made something in nature, trying to understand the mechanisms in place. It is far more enjoyable, far more exciting, and far more exhilarating than just slapping on any answer. I just wanted to finish up with a quote by Daniel C. Dennett, who's a fairly prominent atheist. And he said, "It's a sad fact that people won't trust their own valuing of their numinous experience. They think it isn't really as good as it seems, unless it's from God and is some kind of proof of religion. No, it is as wonderful as it seems." And I can't agree with him more. Without God, you can still explain the phenomenon of the world through natural means. And sure, we don't have all the answers yet. Science is still plugging away and working on it. But that's no reason to believe we won't eventually. And so we should avoid answering the questions too early, jumping the gun, and just kind of hold out and keep working at these answers, because in the end they are more fascinating and more beautiful than any kind of presupposed and human answer could possibly be. So there you go.